What is up, everyone? I am so excited to be filming this. So I have been back from Sydney for 1 week now. I had an incredible time catching up with friends in the amazing Bondi Beach, but I am excited to be back on track with my shred. So coming back from Sydney, I weighed in at pretty much the same weight that I left the Sydney on. So that's kind of like a week out of my shred gone. I just accepted that, you know what, I am going away to Sydney. I understood how many calories I should be eating, and to be honest, I ate a little bit over my cutting calories, so I ended up just eating at maintenance and staying the same weight for the week. That's okay. I understand that that was my choice to make, but I thought that what I would do is give you some tips for staying on track, because I feel like a lot of people think when they're going on vacation, it's like a free-for-all and you can just go out and eat whatever you want and it's not going to impact you because you're on holiday. You can deal with it when you get back home. But if you're often traveling or you kind of struggle with your relationship with food, then this means that you're setting yourself up to always kind of take 2 steps back whenever you go on holiday. And we don't want holidays to be something that causes kind of an anxiety around food and things like that. So if you are on a fitness journey and you're looking to shred down and you've got to travel, I thought that this video would be a really good one to help give you some of my top tips. I'm going to kind of work through them. It's just going to be nice, short and simple. I hope that you enjoyed seeing some of my footage from Sydney. But yeah, let's get started with this chit chat. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is accommodation. Whenever Ross and I go on a holiday and we know that it's going to be for like an extended amount of time, a few days, and we've got some fitness goals, we'll usually try and book somewhere that has a cooking area. So when I travel by myself, I usually book Airbnbs. This just means that I can go to the supermarket, I can get the foods that I want, and then I can prepare them at the Airbnb instead of always having to eat out, because eating out not only gets expensive, but sometimes it can be hard to find foods that fit within your macros or your calories when you're traveling and trying to find new restaurants as well. I'll usually book an Airbnb. Ross and I will book like a hotel with a kitchen if we're traveling together. And then when it comes to going to the supermarkets, I love going to supermarkets in different countries. There's always interesting different kinds of treats and foods and things like that. So as you saw, I got the Hershey's ice creams to try. They were only $4 for a box of 4. I shared one with my friend Jody, and I just had one on the other days tracked into my calories. Really liked them as well. So I ate foods that I enjoyed, but I just tried my best to fit them into my calories. Then when it comes to going to the supermarket as well, I try and get fresh fruit, Whole Foods. You saw me get a fruit salad when I was really hungry one of the days. I also pick foods that I can take with me if I've got to head out for the day, like tuna on rice crackers and simple snacks that I don't need to weigh out. They're already portioned for me, so I could have a whole can of tuna, I could have 4 rice cakes, and I knew exactly what the calories were going to be for those foods, instead of getting something like a bag of nuts, in which nuts are high in fat. They can really drive your calories up, and they're kind of moreish, so if you have like 1 or 2, it's not enough, and before you know it, you finish the whole bag, which would be like 1,000 calories. So I really try and keep my food simple and already weighed out so that I don't have to waste my time weighing them out. How I spread my calories out on holiday. So I try to train first thing in the morning. I'd go to Beach Fit, I'd have a workout, and then I would try and fast until later in the day. So I'd pretty much just skip breakfast and then have my calories later in the day, either with a lunch out or a high protein meal at home. And then I'd have dinner out with a friend as well. And when catching up with friends, I would choose the restaurants carefully in which we would go out to eat. So I'd always make sure that there were going to be healthy options to eat, such as Preach Cafe. I would have the nutrition bowl with double chicken, and then I'd ask for things like sauces on the side, and I'd use all my principles from my eating out video that I posted last week in order for me to make good decisions when eating out. So you saw me go to Marcelleria. I could have protein skewers, I could have a side of vegetables, and I was just really conscious of the foods that I was ordering when out, because I am on a shred and I do have some big goals to achieve this year. Following on from that, when you do eat out, don't feel like you have to finish the meal. Often when you eat out at places, the meals are so big that it's more than you would eat usually in a meal. So either don't finish the whole thing, share it with a friend, or get a doggy bag and take it home for the next day. Now, another thing I want to talk about is enjoying the foods that you eat on holiday and enjoying your trip away, but not overindulging. So you didn't see me go to any buffets. I feel like buffets kind of set you up for disaster. They can be really hard to control calories for and at. And then when I did want to get dessert, I got things like Hershey's ice creams that were already portioned out. Or when you saw me go to Anita's for ice cream with Jody, I chose the smallest one. So I had 2 little flavors in the babyest, tiniest cup, and it was delicious. I enjoyed it. Could I have eaten 3 of those? Heck yes. Did I? No. I had 1 the whole trip, and that was it. Compared to, say, last year, I would have had 1 every single day, and it probably would have been a medium, like 2 to 3 scoop one. So very proud of myself for that. Took a lot of control. I do really love gelato. That's probably my weakness when it comes to sweet treats. Ice cream is my go-to. Following on from that, in terms of treats, I know that a lot of people out there really like alcohol, and I always get the question about alcohol, and I did discuss it in my last video. But when on holidays and shredding, I don't touch alcohol. It's a personal choice. I would rather have an ice cream instead of a cocktail. So when I went out to the vegan plant-based restaurant with the girls, they had cocktails, which is a-okay. It was happy hour. I would have loved to have a cocktail, but I consciously chose not to. I knew that I hadn't saved enough calories for that dinner. I didn't expect to go to a plant-based place. It was very carb dense. It was a delicious meal, like absolutely insane, but I just could not fit a cocktail, and I didn't want to do that to myself. So I knew that my calories were going to be over that night. I chose not to have a cocktail, and that was personal choice. If I wanted to have a drink, on holiday, I would recommend going for like a low calorie, kind of 0 calorie soda with something like vodka, just to limit the calories that you're consuming, because cocktails do have a lot of sugar in them, and the calories can just bump you up over your maintenance amount, especially if you're eating a meal with them. And the last tip I wanted to say, or the thing that I do when on holiday, is I stick to my key habits. Key habits are things that I do whether I'm on holiday or whether I'm just back at home in my everyday routine. These things include my steps, my water intake, and my training. I love training. Training for me is not a hassle. I love weightlifting. I love going to the gym, and I always make time to do this on holiday because it makes me feel good. Not everyone's going to want to train on holiday, so do whatever suits you. But I personally chose to train. I hit over 10,000 steps every day. I made sure that I was drinking 3 liters of water minimum, and these 3 key habits just kind of help to keep me on track. Following on from that, I also kind of tried to make sure that I was in bed at a good time, but I do struggle with sleeping when I'm away from home, so I didn't really sleep the best, but ideally I like to get 8 hours of sleep a night, and that just helps me make healthier choices throughout the day, because when I'm more tired, I'm more likely to just kind of impulse eat certain foods. So that's kind of my top tips for staying on track when on holiday. It totally is possible to lose weight on holiday, or to at least maintain weight instead of just gaining weight because you're on holiday. So last year Ross and I went to Tonga, and I remember I actually came home lighter after that trip away because I stuck to my key habits and made sure that I made smart choices that aligned with my goals when eating out. So yes, if you are going on a holiday, or you're shredding, or you're on the Anjuli Fit Squad and you want to stay on track with your goals, just know that it's totally possible. You just have to remember your goals and keep them in mind. So I'm very excited to do a physique update with you in a couple of weeks time. Since Ross and I are both shredding, we're going to do a chit chat about how our shreds are going, and hopefully we'll have some kind of before and after photos to show you. So I'm thinking it'll work out to be like week 1 to 8 weeks, I think. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you do, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and smile.